now we're going to take a look at another aspect of Barbara Marx Hubbard. So, Hubbard was a major pusher of transhumanism. Now, you might look at that and go, how on earth is a lady? If you look at her, she just looks like this sweet old lady. Unless you look into her eyes, you see a lot of black in her eyes. And I mean, you physically see a lot of black in her eyes. But she was heavy in the transhumanism movement. She was a firm believer, a firm pusher, and helped push the idea of melding man and machine. She was heavy into that. Her goal of conscious evolution, which again, her belief was we've had just evolution up until this point, and now that we have the ability, we have to make the conscious decision of evolving into the next step, which is transhumanism. So that's conscious evolution, is for humans to choose and be active in obtaining the next evolution of man. Transhumanism, and that would be again mixing man with machine. We saw the road now with the countless technological advancements and policies and companies, and of course we see the elite talking heads. So this is something that we talk a lot about here. There's a lot of the other prophecy guys that talk about it as well. It's the technology, the advancement of technology. We see what's going on in the marketplace with the economies. We see things like the Amazon One. We see things like the self-serving stores where there's no staff or anything. You just walk in, you scan, you go in, get your items, you just walk right out. You don't even have to pay anything because you're attached to it. Your body is becoming one with the Internet of Things. We see things like what's going on with Neuralink, and we see things BlackRock Neurotech and Synchron and all these groups. We see what's going on with the organoid intelligence, how they're actually trying to take brain material and combine it with AI to make a super type of person, which we're not going to talk about it this time, but we're going to get into the fact of what's going on with all the superhero movies and how that is a form of programming to get people on board because you're going to have superhuman powers. We'll talk about that again, not this week, but we will get to that in this whole thing. But we see everything that's going on. We see all the talking heads. You hear about Klaus Schwab and the Fourth Industrial Revolution, which is led by the phrase, the new normal, which is not just a catchphrase. It's actually part of the Fourth Industrial Revolution. And Schwab also talks about things like the transhuman transition. He talks about how the AI is going to be used, how these different machines are going to be attached to bodies. He talks about all this stuff. We talk about Noah Yuval Harari. That's a name that everybody knows, everybody talks about. He's spoken about how they're going to be hacking humans, connecting our minds to the universal cloud. It's not, like he says, it's not some God up in the clouds, but it's the God in the cloud, the server cloud. We're going to connect to that. We're going to be like gods. Again, there's the spiritual aspect of this as well. I've talked about it before. Peter Thiel, he believes that our next evolution, our conscious evolution, is through transhumanism, so we can co-create with God. He's talked about how his theology is where God has given us the technology and the brain power to create this technology, so we can then strap that to us and reach his level so we can co-create. Co-creation is something that we've really talked about a lot on here because that's something that Barbara Marx Hubbard has talked about. It's a point of new age, a point of new thought. Spirituality is a point of all this is about we are co-creators. God is the universal mind and we co-create with him. That's how that works. And so Peter Thiel, he's invested in things like BlackRock Neurotech as well as Neuralink. So he just got on board with that as well. BlackRock Neurotech and Synchron are actually further ahead than Neuralink. Neuralink is just the one that gets talked about the most because Elon Musk is attached. And speaking of Elon Musk, we talk about Elon Musk again. He's taking several avenues with this as well. He's talked about he's working on the Neuralink stuff. He's worked on the CureVac thing, which is something that a lot of people don't know that he's a part of, which we really can't talk about on YouTube. But he's all fully involved with this. Plus, we take a look at what's going on with X and X.AI. We see what's going on with that soon. I'm sure that'll get put into Neuralink in some way. And the other one is Ray Kurzweil as well, who's fully on board with all this New Age stuff, as well as a transhumanist and everything. Of course, Ray Kurzweil, director of engineering at Google, co-founder of Singularity University, which we're going to talk about not today, but probably next week. He's spoken about it using technology for immortality and evolving humans. And that's where his New Age aspect comes along, is he's using the technology to advance the New Age there. So conscious evolution, which is a part of the New Age, part of the New Thought, the one world religion, the mystery religion, the main thing that's driving everything is transhumanism. So again, there's this idea where people think that they're separate, when in actuality they're one and the same. The spiritual New Age mystery religion that's coming, that's here, that's working now, is actually what is leading transhumanism, because that is the conscious evolution. That is the next step. And so they are working 100% in tandem together. Plus, there's countless others who believe and are actively pushing through to this next step. Now, let's talk about the new normal. The new normal term that became a catchphrase in 2020 isn't actually so new. It just started being used in that way because 2020 was the turning point for the fourth industrial revolution. The term actually goes further back, and it comes from the term New World View. Now, a lot of people might think New World Order. That's not where it comes from. It actually comes from New World View, which is indeed a New Age perspective on this stuff. The term, the new normal, means training people to accept a new view of the world through society, through medicine, through education, and through technology, mainly AI. And so this is a training aspect of getting people on board with these new things. So a new society, they're trying to bring in mainly what's going on with the alphabet stuff, the transgender stuff, the tolerance and everything, which is, of course, we've talked about how that's all wrapped up in New Age. Well, we're going to talk about with this transgender, how it leads to transhuman. So it's getting the society on board with that. It's getting society on board with the new medicine. We can't really talk about any of that stuff, but I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. New education, which we're going to talk about with the education stuff. I don't know when, but we're going to get to it with the SCL programs and everything that's going on with that. It's all about new education, not only for the kids, but also for the adults to get prepared for the new technology that's coming in, which, of course, the new technology, mainly AI. And so if we take a look at this, right off the bat, we got something that tells us what's going on with Forbes. I mean, right off of Forbes. The new normal, and they tell us what's going on. Reimagine the transformation of industries with AI. So we're seeing the technology being attached to the term new normal. Now, if you take a look into the article, it tells us what's going on. I'll read it for you guys. It says, just a decade ago, you would gloss through a TV guide or ask a friend to recommend a new series worth watching. Cut to today, over-the-top platforms are equipped with a lot more data mining and understanding of viewers' preferences to make personalized show recommendations. AI-led recommendation engines have truly revolutionized how we consume content, and the over-the-top platforms is not the only segment that has undergone such a transformation. With its far-reaching impact across industry segments, AI has unleashed the fourth industrial revolution and is changing business processes as well as how industries reimagine their customers' preferences. Many AI companies have been at the forefront of this transformation, making an impact on clients, businesses, and processes. And then it goes on, here are a few perspectives, But we're seeing right here what they're telling us in the mainstream media. We're talking, they said the new normal, which is attached to AI, which is unleashing the fourth industrial revolution. So this is part of it. It's the AI, which we know man is going to get hooked up with AI eventually. So we're getting an idea straight from, again, Forbes, mainstream media. They're telling us this is all one and the same. This is all one and the same. Now, I wanted to go back and take a look at specifically the history of this term. I didn't go all the way back, but wouldn't you know it, one of the people who preached this and wrote about this all the time was none other than Barbara Marx Hubbard. She's been one of the leading people behind the new normal phrase. And again, it stems from the term a new world view. And so if we go back to 2008, you'll find a paper that Hubbard released called An Evolutionary Synthesis, A New Worldview. New Worldview, A New Normal. And it says, weaving together a new mimetic code, and that's where the term meme comes from. You notice how memes have become such a popular thing? Well, I'll explain that. Weaving together a new mimetic code for the optimum future for humanity by Barbara Marx Hubbard, Foundation for Conscious Evolution, February of 2008. 2008 was such a turning point on things too, wasn't it? Now, the mimetic code is a cultural evolution. That's what that is. It's the code for a cultural revolution, or some people might reference it as a collective consciousness. It's the idea of trying to rewrite the code for societal norms, for cultural norms. So when you're talking about a new world view and then weaving together a new mimetic code, you're talking about, again, weaving a new normal. And this is where this comes in. This is, again, a new age point of view. So again, when you look at memes today, which is those funny pictures with little words and stuff, that's a cultural thing. And so while it most of them may not be a part of a new mimetic code, some of them are there to try and egg people, to push people, nudge them, prod them in the way that that's trying to go. But that's just an element of that's where that name comes from. But if we look at this, again, this is about establishing the new normal, which again, that was the phrase that came out in 2020. So we're going to read I'm just going to read through this section and then I'll point out some stuff afterwards. So hang with me on this. It says, in this mimetic code, we discover that there is a cosmic code. Hang on to cosmic code. A subtext that underlies physics that produces ever more conscious life. This subtext is coded within us as our own impulse to evolve, conscious evolution. It's part of the cosmic code. As above, so below. Now that's a term we're going to be talking about a lot today. We'll get back to it. As within, so without. It is the full suite of physical constants and natural laws that prevail in our strangely and probably life-friendly cosmos, as Heinz Pagel describes it. The source of this subtext is a mystery. And what you'll notice is mystery is capitalized. The M is capitalized. It's not just a mystery. No, it's capitalized mystery. Yes, that is the mystery that you think it is. That is mystery religion. That is her. That we talk about the Whore of Babylon in Revelation 17. They are referencing her by name. So, it says the source of the subtext is a mystery, not comprehensible to the human mind, but it is real. And we are beginning to decipher the code and respond to its directives so we can fulfill its pregnant impulse within us to actually evolve our world and ourselves. There's the female aspect again. Mystery, pregnant impulse within us to actually evolve our world and ourselves. She is real. I'm telling you guys, she is real and she is here. Mark Cummings writes, Mark Cummings is an interesting dude. If you really want to find out what he was all about, we're not going to talk about him, but that's a rabbit trail in itself. I'll tell you what. Mark Cummings, right? All matter inclusive of living systems appears to be dynamically arising out of a pre-physical substrate or domain of pure potential energy, which can be thought of as a kind of pre-energy underlying all material forms. This is again, the aspect of everything is created by our energy, our mind energy, etc. The quantum plenum provides a vibrant radiant matrix, a sentient dynamic medium, which is the generative source of the mysterious aspect of the subtle energetic forces enveloping and sustaining living systems. Perhaps there exists a kind of geometry or pre-geometry enfolded in the implicate order within the plenum of space that organic matter resonantly engages and couples to. Now, they even go on to put it simply for us, where it says, to put it simply, the hypothesis is that at the basis of our universe is a subtext underlying the physical laws that is designed to create intelligent life, whose ultimate goal is to infuse the matter of the universe with ever more animate intelligence far beyond carbon-based, earthbound human life. The most imaginative part of the hypothesis that James Gardner and others suggest is that perhaps the purpose of universal intelligences, and that's in their mind God, that's us, we're a part of it, joined is to reproduce new baby universes, life ever evolving and worlds without end. Now, when it's talking about reproduce new baby universes, this is the Gnostic view of once we join that universal intelligence, once we reach new knowledge and we exit creation, we can then be creators and start creating ourselves. You'll also notice a quite Mormon view from this as well, where once you reach that level and you exit, you become a god and you get your own planet and god of the planet and stuff. That's also where the Mormon aspect comes in. Yes, Mormonism is based off of Gnosticism as well. Shock, right? Now, what I want to focus on today, I know there's a lot in there, but I want to focus on today is as above, so below. We need to have an understanding of the history of some of this stuff so we understand where it comes from and how intertwined it actually is. So we're going to be doing a history dive today on that term, as above, so below. As above, so below is a pretty important phrase to understand as it branches into many different aspects of life today. And I'll tell you what, a lot of the things that we say, that we read, that we watch, that we possess, that we are somehow interacting with or have around our house is involved with that phrase. And I'll show you just some instances as we go. The phrase as above, so below is an esoteric phrase that means that our reality and existence are a part of an infinite pattern and is part of the oneness of the individual and the universe. It's a balance of light and dark and masculine and feminine. And so part of the infinite pattern, you know, when we go to our red flag words, infinite, infinity is a part of that. The word itself is not bad. It's the context of what it's used. And in this context, this is what it's referencing. And you notice we have added the word balance this week because that's going to be mainly the new word that we're going to need to pay attention to today. But infinite, a part of the infinite. And we'll talk about the infinity symbol later. Now, sayings like to truly know the worlds, you must look within comes from this phrase where, again, we are oneness as individual and universe, a part of the infinite phrase. So to know the world, to know the universe, you must look within. And again, universal mind is God for them. So again, this is another aspect of pushing we are gods, that is Christ consciousness. This is a part of the microcosm, macrocosm belief. Micro means us. So micro is us. It's our reality, our experiences, what's within us. And macro is the universe. So the micro, macro type of deal is we are one universe and within us. So just like as above, so below, above means world and universe, below means us. So they are one and the same. So if you hear microcosm and macrocosm belief, or you hear as above, so below, it is one and the same. They are the same belief, just a different coat of paint on it. Again, everything has that same foundation. It just has different wordings on there. That's there to cause confusion. That's there to make sure everything stays separate until they need to bring it together. That's rooted straight in Satan. because he is the father of confusion. He's there to confuse things. God is the God of order. He makes everything easy for us to understand. There's no confusion, and it's never changing. Satan is always changing things. The foundation stays the same, but everything changes on top of it. This is also a system of balance, which is the fundamental word to understanding how transhumanism and transgenderism work together in mystery of religion. So balance, again, as above, so below, and balance, those are the things that we need to pay attention to today. So as above, so below, and the belief system is a Gnostic system that stems from Hermeticism. So I don't know if any of you guys have heard of Hermeticism before, but this is one and the same. It is a New Age belief, and we're going to take a look at where this comes from. Now, Hermeticism is a philosophy based on the teachings, and I practiced this word so many times, I got to make sure I get this. It's based on the teachings by Hermes Trismegistus, I knew I was going to get this wrong. Trismegistus. There we go. I got it. The teachings by Hermes Trismegistus. And so I posted this in my Telegram, and I'm sure some of you have seen this artwork before. But this is where it comes from. This is Hermeticism, ultimately Gnosticism. It is the idea of, you see, the man breaking out of the realm of creation, reaching new knowledge. Hermeticism is basically the exact same thing as Gnosticism. Surprise, surprise, right? And this teaching of Hermeticism comes from Hermes Trismegistus. Now, if we take a look at Hermes himself, we see some interesting stuff. Now, I blew up the stand there. You can see the infinity symbol that is being made by the griffin's tails there. Trismegistus is the entity created when people realized, or they established, that the Egyptian god Thoth and the Greek god Hermes were the same being. So again, if we take another look at Hermes here, Mr. Trismegistus, this is a man that is supposedly the same people as the Egyptian god Thoth and the Greek god Hermes. And you will notice in this artwork, you see the sun and moon, and you see an infinity symbol that's going around them. This is where all this comes from. So if you don't know these gods that supposedly create Trismegistus here, you got the Egyptian god Thoth on the left, which I'm sure people have seen that artwork before, and then you've got the Greek god Hermes on the right, which I'm sure some of you have seen him before. Thoth was the scribe of the gods, the Egyptian gods, and is claimed to be the inventor of writing, as well as a key part in the development of medicine, astronomy, and magic. Hermes, as well, is the Greek god and the son of Zeus and Maya. You'll notice Hermes' staff there. We'll get to that a little bit later. But so ultimately, Trismegistus, who created Hermeticism, he is how they describe the same person of Thoth and Hermes. The name Trismegistus comes from the Egyptian repetition, the word for it, and the Greek as thrice greatest. So Trismegistus is also known as thrice greatest. And he was found, and the wording found, Hermes the Great is a part of the Rosetta Stone. So if you guys know the Rosetta Stone, contained scripts in various different languages, which is where they actually first started reading about Trismegistus. Was Hermes the Great. He was referenced on that. And so the Rosetta Stone, you might also recognize it today in modern day as the language program. That's where it gets its name, is from that tablet, the Egyptian script tablet that Trismegistus is found. This takes us back, and this is again where I show how interconnected everything is, because the Rosetta Stone that's a part of that is also the modern day language thing today, where it has all these different languages for people to learn. That takes us all the way back again to the Tower of Babel, where there was one language. And in scripture, it was referencing that these people could reach great heights because they share one language. And so that is why the Lord caused the Babel tongue for everybody. He split up the languages and caused everybody to scatter and establish new languages out there. Well, again, everything that we're talking about is all trying to get back to the Tower of Babel. We're all trying to get back to one language, all trying to be back to that point where we can become gods. The same religion that is in the Tower of Babel that spread when they were scattered, that same one world religion, they're all trying to get back to that as well. That's why I always make reference to this stuff as it's all one and the same, and it's all trying to get back to the same place. It started in one place and it's trying to get back and end in the same place. Satan's always doing the same thing. He has the same playbook. He never changes anything. It's all a part of the same. And so even today, the name of Rosetta Stone, a part of that language program, makes reference again to the one world religion getting back to the Tower of Babel. Things that we don't even realize, things that we don't recognize are in our everyday lives that we just don't put two and two together. We just don't know. We just don't know. And this is in reference to that. So again, this is why the Lord spread the languages, and now Satan's trying to, come on, bring it on back. Just bring it on back. Now, Trismegistus is credited for creating the emerald tablets. I'm not sure if anybody has heard of those before, but apparently the emerald tablets contains the cosmic code. But we just didn't we just, yeah, we did. Barbara Marx Hubbard in 2008, a part of the New World View, a part of the New Normal, the Mimetic Code is a part of the Cosmic Code, which the Emerald Tablets, that's a part of Trismegistus here, contains the Cosmic Code. It's all one and the same. It's all trying to get back to the same thing. Now, these tablets, the green tablets, 42 in all, is said to contain the secrets to the universe, as well as the recipe for the Philosopher's Stone that can turn anything to gold and grant immortality. Now, I'll show another aspect of how everything is all interconnected, because I don't know if any of you have ever seen Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, or have read the book Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Well, what people don't realize is the original name of that is actually Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. The same stone that legend has it can be the recipe for it that's on the Emerald Tablets is what that Harry Potter movie is about the Philosopher's Stone that can make anything gold and grant immortality. So it's just another aspect of how this stuff is intertwined through our lives now, and we just don't even see it. We just don't even recognize it. These tablets have intrigued philosophers and alchemists and occultists for years, and because they're trying to unlock what the tablets contain. Now, there's various opinions. This is where we don't really know for sure where this is at. There's just different variations that I've discovered on this. But there's various opinions by philosophers and historians and all these people about these tablets, including that they were actually written by Adam and Eve's son Seth, and then was given to Trismegistus. So Trismegistus didn't write it; he was given the tablets, the cosmic code, by Seth. That's one of the legends, one of the things that they talk about. Another one is the tablets were actually stored in the Ark of the Covenant, which is why everybody wanted to hold on to that, because it actually held the Emerald Tablets. That's another thing. And then the other one that I found that was pretty interesting is the tablets were actually written on the walls of Atlantis, and they were ripped off, because what it was is, if you were to look at it, is the tablet, the Emerald Tablet was one giant thing that was broken off into 42 pieces and then scattered. And so they legend has it that was actually a part of the city of Atlantis. That's a different discussion. We're not even going to get into that. Now, getting back to what we do know, the Hermetic Code was huge in the medieval and the Renaissance time, as well as the key influence to Freemasonry, Theosophy, which is Helena Blavatsky, the Kabbalah, and anyone involved with alchemy. Alchemy is, again, it's part of the medicine, part of the sorcery, part of the elements, and going through all that stuff. We're not going to get into all of that, but there's a huge spiritual aspect to it. But anybody involved with alchemy. It's said that the tablets were translated by various people. Some of them include Isaac Newton, apparently got his hand on the tablets and deciphered some of it. Helena Blavatsky as well, apparently she got her hands on it and was able to decipher some of it. Aleister Crowley was another one who got his hands on it, and he was able to decipher it and translate it. And various other people. But one of the ones that is very interesting is a book by the three, a writer that goes by the name The Three Initiates. And it gave us this. The Kybalion, Hermetic philosophy written by three initiates. Now, it's said, and this is pretty... a lot of people agree on this for sure, but again, we don't know exactly for sure. But a lot of people believe that it was written by William Walker Atkinson. He went by the name of the Three Initiates. Atkinson was an occultist and a leader in the New Thought movement of America. He was one of the main guys who helped establish New Thought, New Age, mystery religion in America. And he wrote over 100 books in the last 30 years of his life. And if he wrote the Kybalion, like a lot of people believe he did, that would fall in line with those 100 books that he wrote in the last 30 years of his life. Now, if we take a look in this book, we get the 7 principles of the universe. This is supposedly translated from the Emerald Tablets. Now, again, that might be a little bit small for you guys, so I'll read through these, and we'll talk about that symbol in a second. But from Hermes Trismegistus on the Emerald Tablets, apparently it was translated the 7 principles of the universe as written in the Kybalion. One is the principle of mentalism, which is all is mind, which again, that's where it comes from. Universal thought, we can create our own reality type of deal. That's where that comes from. Principle of correspondence. This is the as is above, so below. So as above, so below. As is below, so is above. Principle of vibration. Nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. Again, we talked about good vibes, good vibrations, red flag word. That's where that stems from. That's all wrapped up in New Age, all wrapped up in New Thought. And would you look at that? It's all wrapped up in this as well. You look at principle of polarity. Everything is dual. Nothing has an opposite, and opposites are identical in nature, but different in a degree. This is a balance, the act of balance, light and dark, masculine, feminine, all that stuff. It's duality, part of balance. Principle of rhythm. Everything flows out and in. The pendulum swing manifests in everything. The measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left. Rhythm compensates. And then we got principle of cause and effect. Every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. You also know the term of what comes around goes around, or you might know karma. Same thing, same deal. And then right here, principle of gender. Everything has its masculine and feminine principles. Masculine and feminine in everything. And so the balance of gender. That has to do with what's going on with the transgender movement. I'm telling you, we'll talk about that. Now the symbol. Let's take a look at this symbol. That symbol in alchemy, of course, because it's connected to this, is the symbol of Mercury. And if we take a look at the alchemy definition of this, Mercury, also called quicksilver by the ancients, was used to make red mercuric oxide by heating the element in a solution of nitric acid. Alchemists were convinced that Mercury transcended both the solid and liquid states both earth and heaven, both life and death. Mercury is one of 7 metals of alchemy: gold, silver, mercury, copper, lead, iron, and tin. The symbol for Mercury could also be used to represent the planet of the same name in astrology. The metal is often also represented by a serpent or snake. By a serpent or snake. And it also is supposedly can transcend solid and liquid, earth and heaven, life and death. Now, if you look at that, sure looks like the female gender symbol that we see all over the place. And it also represents the serpent or snake. Remember, when it comes to reaching new knowledge, that divine wisdom, it's unlocking the divine feminine to get there, which once you reach the top level, it's serpent knowledge. So you've got the female symbol that supposedly represents being able to transcend earth and heaven, life and death, but it's also represented by the serpent and snake. You awaken the divine feminine. Everybody has, according to them, the divine feminine at the root of our chakras, the 7 chakras. Once we reach serpent knowledge, we transcend all of reality, all of creation to enter it. So what you're seeing there is another sign of what's going on with the Gnostic belief, how it's intertwined in alchemy, in Hinduism, in New Age, all of these things. It's all right there. It's all right there for us to see. It's truly mind-blowing when you really finally start looking into this stuff and you just see how interconnected everything actually is. Everything, all of this stuff is truly interconnected with themselves. It's crazy. Now, hang on to that symbol because we're going to get back to that symbol again. So hang on to it. Now, Blavatsky and her Theosophy, again, where she was supposedly able to translate the Emerald Tablet, was an extension of Gnosticism. Theosophy is an extension of Gnosticism, part of the Kabbalah, part of Buddhism, and even Catholicism. She took elements of all those, which of course all stem from the same thing. And some of her writings also consisted of that famous phrase, as above, so below, that which has been will return again. That's the sign of infinite universe. As in heaven, so on earth, which we see a lot of these churches like Bethel that are utilizing that same phrase, which sounds very Christian, right? Sounds Christian. She also wrote, as above, so below, harmony is the great law of nature. Living in harmony means living in balance. And again, getting back to the element of we see these things all throughout our lives, and sometimes we just don't even know it. We see it in the Christian sphere as well. And we take a look at the as above, so below symbol, which is the dark tree above in light and the light tree down below in dark. It's the same symbol that appears on the Casting Crowns album, also titled Thrive, which again, if you get back to the red flag words right there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down, thrive. So we've got thrive going on board with the as above, so below symbol. It's in everything. It's in everything. And we just don't see it. It's always been there. We just don't see it. Where the phrase really reveals itself is in the Baphomet. Now, I know a lot of you have probably seen the Baphomet before. You've heard about it. You know something about it. There's a lot to that thing that even I didn't know before I started looking into this stuff. So where the phrase really reveals itself is in the Baphomet, that reveals to us not only the Gnostic foundation of as above, so below, but it also connects various groups as well with the key element of balance. And so we're going to go through this thing and talk about it. Now, The Baphomet is worshipped by a lot of different groups. The Baphomet is worshipped by the Knights Templar. There's a lot on the Knights Templar. We're not going to get into all of that right now. But that is the beast, the entity that they worship. Aleister Crowley's Thelema cult also worships the Baphomet. Anton LaVey's Church of Satan also worships the Baphomet. The Satanic Temple that we're seeing a lot of nowadays, they also worship the Baphomet. And even the secret societies of the Roman Catholic Church worships the Baphomet. And that's, you go back to the day when the Knights Templar were working with the Catholic Church, and there's a reason why they got along so well for a period of time, because they were all worshiping the same entity. Now, why this beast is important with all this, we're going to take a look. Watch yourselves, everybody, because Baphomet incoming. Oh, isn't it wonderful looking straight at the drawing of evil here? That is the Baphomet. It is half man, half goat, and a lot of other things on there. Now, before I even talk about the Baphomet as a whole, if we take a look at the symbol that's involved, you will notice a name written on the bottom. Say hello to Lilith, everyone. Because in a lot of lore, because you got Samamel as well, and a lot of lore, Lilith was actually the wife of Satan. If we go back to Gnosticism, Lilith broke off from Adam before Eve was even there, because she gained new knowledge, and she worked with Satan to bring the fruit that was supposed to give new knowledge to Eve, and she gave it to Eve. It's all connected, everybody. It's all connected. Now let's take a look at the Baphomet itself. There's a lot in that image that's important that we understand. So, obviously, we know right off the bat, we take a look, we see the goat head and the pentagram. Clearly, we've got evil here. That's what everybody usually focuses on. I'm not going to focus on that. What I want you to see are the other messages. One, look at the hands. You look at the hands there, how it's pointing up to one moon and pointing down to the other moon. That represents as above, so below. You've got pointing up as above to the light moon in the dark, and you got as below pointing to the dark moon in the light. This again represents light and dark. You'll notice the similarity to another symbol called the Yin-Yang, which is the same thing. You got the dark circle in the white, in the light, and then you've got the light circle in the dark. It's a representative of balance. It's a representative of as above, so below. The same stuff that's in Chinese culture right here is also the same stuff that's in the Hermetic Code, which is in New Age, which is in Gnosticism. It's all the same stuff. It's all the same stuff. And so as we go again throughout our lives, there's a lot of different things out there that represent balance that we just don't even recognize, that we see everywhere. Here's just a few examples of the balance symbolism. We got the yin and yang. Yes, even the heart, the lovely heart that we see all over. Valentine's Day, Saint Valentine. Yeah, look into that if you want to. That's also a representative of balance. The scales of justice that we see in the United States all over the place, that is also a representative of the same balance of the Hermetic Code. Four-leaf clover, same thing, balance. You'll notice the four-leaf clover is really just four hearts together. You got the Dharma chakra, which is a part of Buddhism. Yes, it looks like the ship wheel. Did you guys know that they created the old-fashioned ship wheels in that position because it was supposed to bring good luck? It was supposed to bring balance to the ship so it wouldn't suffer any shipwrecks. That's actually a symbol that was intentionally placed on ships in history. Take a look at the Templar cross. No surprise there. The infinity symbol, of course, that's there. And yes, the meta symbol, from Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, is indeed the infinity symbol, just bent slightly to look like an M. That does also represent balance. And the sun and moon, how many of you have ever been, you may have owned them, but may have been in somebody's yard where they have those big sun and moon things on their walls, or even in their house, they got the sun and moon stuff? Yes, that is representative of balance in the New Age. It's the same thing. It is the same thing. These are just a few. There is this stuff everywhere. It's everywhere. Okay, getting back to the Baphomet, because there's more I want to point out. We take a look at the stomach of the Baphomet. Yes, that is the medicine symbol. You'll see the caduceus, I think that caduceus symbol. I think that's how you pronounce that. I looked that word up too again, and you know me and words. Anyways, you'll see the caduceus symbol or the medicine symbol on the stomach, which, if you weren't paying attention, points back to Hermes again, which again brings back the as above, so below of teaching of Thoth and Hermes. So if we take a look, there it is. His staff. It's the same thing. It's the rod with the two snakes and the wings of Hermes on it. That is also found on the stomach of the Baphomet. Again, the symbol is widely used in medicine, which is important to understand, because medicine and pharmaceuticals is connected to the Greek word pharmakia, which is a form of sorcery or alchemy. Again, pointing to the alchemy, which takes us right back to Trismegistus and the Emerald Tablets, the Hermetic Code, to New Age, to Gnosticism. It's the same thing. It is the exact same thing. Now, getting back to the Baphomet. The body is the main point that I want to focus on right now. First off, we've got half man, half goat, which is actually very interesting, because in Greek mythology, which I'm a firm believer that they are not myths, these are actual beings, Nephilim, all these Greek gods and Hindu gods and all these other gods and stuff in these different religions were in fact real Nephilim. If you go back to Greek mythology, Hermes had a child by the name of Pan, who also is half man and half goat. That god, according to Greek mythology, is the god of the wild, of the shepherds, and of the flocks, but he is also a musician that loves loud, chaotic music. So if we take a look, that's Pan. You got the statue on the left, you got the drawing on the right. That is Hermes' kid, who's, again, god of the wild, but also loves chaotic music, loud, chaotic music. He's a musician. Now, when we're talking about, again, the aspect of this stuff being intertwined into our lives without even knowing it, everything has a history, everything has a past that we just may not recognize. It's worth noting here that the influence that we may see is indeed in quote-unquote Christian culture. There is a band, a Christian band called Skillet, that calls their fan base the Panheads, and at the same time they also have very curious album covers and names. On the left, you've got the Skillet album Awake that features the Illuminati one eye. On the right, you've got the Skillet album called Dominion, Day of Destiny, on there as well. Dominion is interesting. I'm pointing out Dominion because they also have a song called Saviors of the World. Now, if you don't know, Dominion is the same as Kingdom Now, which is found in NAR, which is we are supposed to bring the kingdom of Christ down to us. But if we look at the lyrics of Saviors of the World, it's very interesting where they are singing and repeating, claiming that we are the saviors of the world, and I will not be ruled. We are the kings and conquerors, and I won't bow to you. They will not control us anymore. We will not conform. We are the saviors of the world. Nowhere in Scripture are we the saviors of the world unless you believe in Kingdom Now, where it is your job to save the world in order for the Lord to bring it down to us. Very interesting history, very interesting album art, very interesting lyrics to be singing in that way. My point is this stuff is in our everyday lives, and we just may not even realize it. And now, again, some people might look at what I'm saying here as far as this goes and say that I'm reaching, but I just don't see how I am. That's way too much and way too close for comfort for me. It's everywhere. Now, getting back to the Baphomet, again, half man, half goat. But where it really takes off, where everything really starts to show itself, is the body of the Baphomet is also a mix of both male and female body parts, making it an androgynous being. If you look, it has the breasts of a woman with the body of a man, where the androgyny comes from. When you view what is being done in the transgender movement, you're viewing a spiritually led movement to create androgynous beings, or beings with a balance of feminine and masculine, which again leads us back to the whole point of balance. You take again a look at these 7 principles. Principle of gender, everything has its masculine and feminine principles. You also take a look at, again, the whole idea of we all have a divine feminine within us, that we must bring it out. So when you look at the push for transgenderism, when you look at that, you see the push of bringing the male, the masculine out of the females, and you look at the females bringing out the masculine in them. I could show you pictures. I'm not going to. I don't see the need to. But if you look at a lot of the people who have been involved with the transgender movement, you can see their face, their body, their mentality, all shifting to the other side, which is bringing in a balance of the masculine and feminine. And you can also see this, because I talked about the Freemasons. You also see this in the entity that the Freemasons worship, called the Rebis, where it's one body with a male head and a female head. You see that they're holding the compass and, what's the other? The angle thing. I can't remember what it's called. I can't. Name just slipped my mind. You guys know what I'm talking about, though. That's the logo of the Freemasons, as well as you again see the sun and the moon. And if you guys look at the very top in the star above the head of the Rebis, you'll see the same emblem for Mercury. You'll see the same emblem for Mercury sitting above them. Once you reach top knowledge, the ability to transcend earth and heaven, reach new knowledge, you'll have perfect balance. You'll have perfect balance. Square, that's the word, square and compass. Which is actually interesting. They don't just call it a compass, they call it compasses. Kind of interesting on little note there. But again, that just shows where the Freemason aspect of this comes in. They are worshiping, again, the same principles that is found within the Hermetic Code, which is, again, found in New Age, in Theosophy, in Satanism, in the Knights Templar, in Catholicism, in Hindu, in Islam, in just name a religion. And it's found in there. The same principles, the same foundation, the same belief system of the cosmic code that again takes us all the way back to what we were starting with. Oh, not that. The new world view, the new normal, the cosmic code. everything that they're trying to do now with the fourth industrial revolution is involved with this. Again, we just saw it here, the new normal, the fourth industrial revolution. The new normal is the new worldview, which is a part of the cosmic code, which is a part of the mystery religion. Everything is all wrapped together. And that's one of the main points that I really want people to come away with on this, is everything is wrapped together. This is the avenue for conscious evolution. Conscious evolution is taking that next step, according to them, into the next evolution, which involves bringing balance, which involves bringing the melding of man and machine, taking that next step so we can be co-creators with God. The creation of androgynous beings through transhumanism and transgenderism will take that next step. And we're not going to get into it this week. We're going to talk about it next week, because it's an entire subject and we'd be here forever if I was to talk about it. But there's a specific person involved with this that you'll see how interconnected they are with getting transgenderism involved with this. Hermeticism is also considered to be connected to futurism, which is highly involved in the New Age movement. If you want to take a look at the Hermetic Code, it's wrapped in a lot of futurists who were studying and trying to push the futurism religion back in the day. They got their same belief systems from that Hermetic Code to bring this into the next evolution. So we listed, again, the futurists of Schwab and Harari and Musk and Thiel, Kurzweil, Hubbard. There's countless others, which we haven't talked about. Who knows if we get to them. But they are all futurists who are also pushing the conscious evolution of transhumanism. This is, again, taking what people think is separate, what people think is just some evil guy trying to rule the world type of thing that you would find in some story or whatever, and it's actually taking it and placing it, wrapping it into the same package that is a part of this beast system that's coming, which is being held together by mystery religion. And again, we know that in Revelation 17, where it's the 10 kings who bring about this beast system are seduced by the whore of Babylon, seduced by mystery religion. It's what establishes everything. So this was a lot of history, a lot of going back and trying to take a look at this stuff. It is, again, this is a shorter episode, I know, because I wanted us to at least have an understanding of all of this, because before we even get into the next stuff, I wanted the emphasis to be put on where it all comes from, how everything is intertwined with the same thing, and having an idea of this history is very important. So next Saturday, we're going to further look into the transgender aspect of this. So again, this is like the next kind of branch off of this series, is taking a look at what's going on with transgender, what's going on with transhuman, how they're one and the same, they interplay together to be a part of this. And so we're going to take a look at that transgender aspect next Saturday. We're going to talk about one of the considered the founding fathers of transgenderism, and how he's involved with Ray Kurzweil, who's, again, futurist and all this, and the aspect of the push of superheroes and the mental programming aspect of how that is involved with getting on board with transgenderism and transhumanism. All of that stuff is intertwined. That's why you look at what's going on today. There's that mega push of superheroes all of a sudden. They were popular in the comic books and stuff back in the day, but now you see just how flooded it's been for all these years. There's a reason why we've been flooded with the superheroes. And even to this day, I went and I looked into, the money that's being made. Back in the day, the superhero movies made a lot of money. Today, they're not making nearly as much. They're actually losing money to make them, but they continue to make them. There's a reason why, and it has to do with this. We're just scratching the surface of all this stuff. Seriously, guys, I can't believe some of the stuff that I've found. And again, it's just every day as I go through, I keep seeing more and more how what we see in the new mimetic code, the societal norms, really how it's all wrapped up in the new normal, which is wrapped up in the fourth industrial revolution, which is wrapped up in New Age, which is wrapped up in the Hermetic code, which is wrapped up in Gnosticism, which is wrapped up in the mystery religion. Everything that we see, there's a reason why it's coming out. There's a reason why all these companies are making stupid decisions logically, but to them, to the spirit that's driving it, it's not. It's pushing along the agenda that it needs to. Everything is intertwined. And it's probably in your life when you just don't even realize it. There's still stuff that I'm sure I don't even recognize that I have around my house, phrases that I say, things like that, that I don't even realize it, that has some foundation, some grounding in mystery religion. It's there. She is there. She is everywhere. And so again, this is why this is a spiritual fight. This is not a physical fight. That is one of the most important things that we can recognize right now, that this is not a political fight that a lot of people make it out to be. This is spiritual warfare to the degree that we just don't even realize it. And the only way that we can protect ourselves, the only way that we can guard ourselves from this, because like I said, we all have something rooted in that in our lives somewhere, and we're being protected from what it brings, because those things are like antennas for demons. We're being protected because we have the Holy Spirit within us through Jesus Christ.